What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the garage. Welcome back to another new video. So I posted the other day on my Instagram story kind of saying, what video you guys might want to see next. I have a few others lined up, but I was just kind of thinking about something that you guys might want to see, and it was pretty clear, pretty obvious. You guys want to see a build cost breakdown on the M3. So I've done quite a bit to this car. I know a lot of you guys oftentimes want to know, what does something like this cost? What all goes into building a car like this and whatnot. So I added everything up last night. It's quite a bit. So we're going to go through, I kind of broke it down into areas. So I think I have suspension, exterior, interior, and performance. So I'll break this. Oh, also I added brakes in there as well as a secondary category, just because there's a decent amount and I don't know where else to throw that. I got everything broken down. We're kind of gonna go over each individual section. I'll show you guys the parts that I have on the car, just a quick overview. And I'll basically run down what it costs to build an M3 just like this one. So one thing I do wanna say is that I'm gonna be doing new pricing. So a lot of this stuff I either got used or discounted or on sale or partial sponsorships or whatnot. But I'm gonna be doing all of these at new pricing except for the OEM GTS hood, because that one is extremely expensive new and almost nobody buys it new. They're available to get used. I don't even know if you can get it from BMW Motorsport anymore, so I don't know how that works. But so everything else, I'm just gonna be showing you guys new costs. Most of the parts I bought on the car were new, but there are a handful of ones that I got used. There's some that I get, light sponsorships for, partial discounts, some things I got on sale. And so I'm just gonna be giving everybody new pricing so that you know exactly what it would cost, say, for you to go and do the exact same parts, exact same mods, exact same build, and get it to the exact same way that I have this car. So let's go ahead and get started. I've got the list here on my phone of all the parts on the car and all the pricing. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll give you guys a breakdown and show you guys what it costs. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna be talking about are the coilovers. So we're gonna start with suspension. The coilovers I have on this car are Nitron R3s. Those are probably one of the better mods that I've done to this car. Love those things. Those were $7,100. Next up, SPL. We have all the SPL arms on this car. It's all, I think it's like 5 or 6 arms in the back. Then it's 4 arms in the front. Those come in at a total of $4,200. I have the SPL rear lower control arm bushings. Those are solid bushings in the rears. Those are $200. I have the Bimmer World diff lift kit for $550. And I have the Motorsport hardware wheel studs. Those were $145. Those are super useful if you're going to the track and doing a lot of like wheels on, wheels off stuff. It makes it so much easier to have wheel studs. Plus you can run spacers. Those come in $145, and then I also threw in an alignment. Now I've gotten tons and tons of alignments, but I'm only gonna count, one. You only really need one, but I've changed the setup a bunch. That was $120. So grand total for suspension, $12,315. Next up, we have the exterior mods on the car. Now there are some parts, like I said, this is pretty much the only part that I have that's not on the car. These are the Motorsport yellow DRLs. I plan on going back to them, but that's probably only gonna be after some other parts come on. I do wanna go ahead and clarify, these are only parts that are on the car now. So including the other Apex wheels. So I'm not including any parts that I've put on the car and then taken off and sold, or parts that I bought and then never installed or swapped, or just putting on everything that I have on the car right now. That way it doesn't get too confusing, because when you go into what you bought, what you sold, all that kind of stuff. I'm also not doing maintenance, and I'm not doing tires. No like fluids or any of that. Just parts that are on the car, no tires, but I will include wheels. So the Motorsport hardware, the DRLs, the yellow DRLs, those are $300. Then I have the GTS lip. This is chassis mounted. The GTS lip comes in at $800. Now, if you want to get, some of the hardware that I got to mount it, it's probably like an extra 20 or 30 bucks. I'm not talking about the CS hardware. I'm just talking about, I added some riv nuts in here and a little bit of extra stuff so that I could have a little bit of a special mounting design. So the GTS lip was $800. Then the mounting kit for it, that's all the OEM mounting from BMW itself was $450. IND paint matched side reflectors, those were $130. I love these things. The M Performance side skirts were $520. The diffuser, the 3D style diffuser was $360. The CS style spoiler, that was also $360. And that basically rounds up, you know, kind of the like aero that we have on the car for now. Really not too bad for those parts. Next up, we have the OEM GTS carbon fiber hood. Now, this one is a little bit debatable because it is difficult for, well, first of all, it's just difficult to find these, especially the GTS with the full carbon on the interior. They're just a little bit hard to find, and you know, it just depends. They sell really quickly on like Facebook Marketplace and Facebook groups. So they're kind of hard to find, but I will say I got this one for $4,000. Then it was in a different color and I had to ship it from California. So paint match and shipping all in together was another $1,200. And then the PPF on it is also included in that. Now I will say, I just included my cost on the PPF. I PPF'd it myself. I did not have a shop do it. So you're looking at, you know, an extra maybe $500-600. If you're gonna get somebody else to do it. I just did it myself, so the PPF cost is in there. Next up, we have the front carbon spats. These are the little deflectors here on the side that kind of protect. These are from Auto Technic. These are $120. We have the GT4 carbon duct brakes. Those are $400. The tow hooks I have in both the front and the rear, those are $320, as well as the little paint matched cutout that I have in the front was $120. The carbon fiber mirror caps, these are $300. Then I also have my decals on here. These are my track numbers that are required, as well as my banner. Now the banner, I will say, is actually pretty useful, especially with these seats. When you sit a little bit lower, the sun visors basically become useless. So having this little bit of a banner where it kind of blocks out some light, pretty useful. Those are pretty cheap, all in together, $100. I do have this carbon hood vent. This is from, man, I forget the name of the place, but it's a company in Germany who makes super, super high quality OEM level carbon bits. This is like absolutely fantastic quality, and it's the best one I found so far, and that was $320. Super worth it. And then I also have the Golden Wrench gas cap that is $45. Last thing on the exterior are the wheels. So I have the Apex VS5 RSs up here. Those are $3,600. I have those in 18 by 10 and 18 by 11. So I think it's 18 by 10 plus 25, 18 by 11 plus 44. Those are a pretty good set. I don't have the cost for the powder coating. I think that was like another $500 or $600, but that's not included here. So you can get those in whatever color. Honestly, you can get them for a little bit cheaper on sale. And then I have the Bimmer World TA5Rs. I got those for $1,560. So that pretty much wraps up all of the exterior, you know, dress up bits, aero, you know, just light little, like, just light cosmetic pieces that kind of make the car look a little bit better. We total out to $15,005. So next up, we have the interior, where we have, you know, quite a bit of different little things in here, but it looks so good, and I'm so happy with the way this interior came out. Every time I get in the car, I just feel like it looks so good and so unique, but still like really OEM plus, I guess, if you would. I just think it looks absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna start with the biggest item here. These are these pole positions. I have the leather with the Pepita inserts. So these inserts come with the seats. These are not an aftermarket. So you can still see it says a little Recaro here. So those are all one thing together. They're actually pretty hard to find, and even if you can find them, they take forever to import or get here. So Recaro just kind of has a long backlog, but the two Recaro pole positions were $4,200. They are mounted on PCI mounts, which PCI has this kind of cool all-in-one that comes with the side brackets, a slider, as well as the floor mounts. For the two of those was $1,100. Then we have the Schroth 6-point harnesses. Those are $1,200. With the JQ Works quick disconnect wheel, the hub itself is $1,359, and then another $210 for the Momo 320 millimeter wheel. Then I've also added the little BMW button. It just normally comes with their JQ Works button. That button was $45. I got some carbon trim for the shift knob and the shift knob surround area. Those are actually just from Amazon, and they're decent quality. Those were $80. We have the IND handbrake with the carbon fiber and the Alcantara. That was $300. The roll cage from Walker Pro Motorsport was $2,745. Then we have these harness collars from RS Pro. Those were $85 for all 4 of them. We have the cage mounted extinguisher, which is $625. And on the passenger side, we have the front mounted fire extinguisher that's also paint matched, and that one is $635. We have the magnetic Renline phone mount. This thing is super useful. That thing is $85. Then we have full screen Apple CarPlay coated. That was $115. I also had to have them update the computer for that, so it's just a little bit more expensive. We have the P2M checkered race floor mats. Those are front and rear. Those are $120. And then we also have the IND red start stop button. That was $45. Thing on the interior are these pedal house metal pedals. These are super useful. I think they look so good. So I've had these on for like a week now, and very happy with those. Those are $220. And we come out to a grand total for the interior on this M3 to $13,169. So next up, I have some performance mods. Now I will say this car is pretty stock performance wise. I do have some other parts that I'm going to be adding to the car. Now, I haven't included those because they are not on here yet. They're just sitting. So like I said, I am only including parts that are currently on the car. So let's go ahead and get into that. Okay, so the first thing to start off underneath here is this car is tuned on boot mode. So a BM3 license is $550. Then I'm also gonna be including the exhausts. So right now we have an Active Auto equal length center section, non-resonated. That comes in at $1,500. And then our back pipe section is the Turner Motorsport axle back. And now that's a little bit of a custom setup. They don't really match together very well, so I have them, I had to get a little bit of pipe welded on to be able to connect the two of those, and so that's a little bit custom, but I'm not including any of that. That is $1,000 for the Turner axle back. Then underneath the engine bay, we have the full Golden Wrench cap set, so all the oil caps, the filter cap, the coolant cap, overflow, as well as the washer fluid. Those come in for a total of $450 for all of them. The Eventuri carbon fiber engine cover comes in at $850, and then the Mosselman oil thermostat comes in at $379. Now, like I mentioned, there are other parts I have for the engine bay. I have a radiator cooler. I also have the DCT cooler as well as an oil cooler, but I just haven't thrown any of those on yet. So I'm not gonna include those, as well as downpipes. I also have downpipes. Like I said, those aren't on the car yet. I'm only gonna be including parts that are actually on the car right now. For a grand total, the performance mods come out to $4,729. Last thing we have are the brakes. Now I've done quite a bit of brake mods to this car, but again, these are only the parts that are on the car, so I'm not going to be including, you know, any of the multiple sets of pads that I've been through. I've done a lot of brake fluid flushes. I'm only going to be including the cost of the fluid the first time. I won't be including, you know, any of the multiple sets, as well as I did that first set of brake ducting. I'm not including that. I'm only including the most recent set. So let's go ahead and get into those. So the PFC pads I have are PFC 08s in the front and in the rear. Those come out to $670. I have 034 Motorsport 2-piece floating rotors in the front. Those are $1,100. I have the Paragon titanium shims in the front. Those are $80. I have the Spiegler stainless steel braided lines in the front and the rear. Those come out to $460. The brake fluid that I'm using is Motul RBF 600. You'll need about 3 little bottles of this to flush it the first time, and then if you're pretty good at it, you can probably get away with a bleed or flush with about 2 bottles. That's about $60 for 3 bottles. Then I have the brake cooling kit from Westersund Motorsport. The actual plate itself is $300. Then the ducting kit, including the all the hosing that you need and everything, is about $120. And then that secondary scoop that connects to the lower control arm and goes to the back side to cool the brake caliper is $150. So that brings the brake totals up to a total of $2,940 to get the brakes that are on this car. So there you go, guys. Those are all the mods that are currently on the M3. You know, there's quite a bit and it adds up really quickly. Like I said, this does not count any of the tires, the multiple sets of tires that I go through. Obviously, it doesn't include any of my other costs like maintenance, oil changes. You know, I didn't include any of the brake changes that I have to do. I only included one set of my alignments, but I think I get an alignment on this thing, you know, every few track days just to make sure that it's still in spec and nothing pulled out, as well as every time you change the ride height or you add a new part on the suspension, you're gonna need a new alignment. So we've gone through a couple of those. This doesn't include, you know, track day costs, fuel, which I know it's just gas, but you'd be surprised how much fuel I usually go through. Like, I can go through like 20 gallons a day at the track, and that's not even a crazy day at the track. So there's a lot of fuel that goes into the car and a lot of extra costs that you know, I didn't include here. Track days are also quite expensive. Those end up adding up as well. But I wanted to give you guys kind of an idea of what it's like to build a car to this level, or, you know, with similar parts. And I mentioned we do have some other parts that are here for the car. Obviously other parts that aren't here for the car, but that are on the way, such as the aero and a bunch of other little things that are coming. So I just wanted to give you guys an idea of what it's like, how much it costs to build a car like this. And I hope you guys kind of enjoy seeing what goes into, you know, taking time and building a car to this level. But the last thing, and probably the biggest thing on this list, is going to be the car itself. So this is a 2018 F80 M3. I got it in September of last year, so we're getting close to 1 year. I got it last year. It had 34,000 miles. It was 100% bone stock, not a single mod on the car, except for the previous owner had, I guess, already gotten tired of the inside of these plastic kind of wearing down. So they added this little carbon fiber stick-on piece. I don't know, it's not really necessary, but I didn't add that in my list. But that was the only mod that the previous owner had done to the car. Maybe they were already getting sticky, so he just put those covers on. I don't really mind them, so I kind of left them. But other than that, the car was 100% bone stock, not a single mod on the car. And here we are, you know, about 10 months later, and she's completely different. So I got the car last year for a total of $52,000. Honestly, I think that's a pretty good deal. The car is pretty well spec'd, very clean, no accidents, no damages. The car's in really good shape overall. And it's an 18 LCI, it has the icons. So I figured, you know, 52K and pretty low mileage, 34,000 miles, really not too bad of a price. Now, one thing that I just realized that I am forgetting, that I forgot to add into the list, is the ceramic coating on this car. So if you guys want to include that, it's a little bit difficult, again, because I did all the work myself. I used to be a professional detailer. And so, you know, as you guys can probably tell, detailing is still quite a large hobby of mine. I enjoy it. I enjoy doing all of it myself. Polishing, cleaning, everything. And I keep this car looking pretty dialed in at all times. But I did do the coating on this car myself. So if you want to add the price of the coating for both the paint and the wheels, that's only about $200. So it's not too bad. Now, if you went to a shop and had somebody do all the other work for you, wheels off, full paint correction and coating, that would be a little bit more expensive. You're probably looking in the ballpark of, you know, $2,000 or so. Obviously, it depends on the condition of your paint to begin with. Mine was already pretty good, but I would still estimate for this level of paint correction and coating that I would estimate about $2,000. So you guys can decide whether or not to add that to the final number, whether you want to include something like that. It's not really necessary, but to me, it does help in the way that the car looks, and it looks fantastic in any light. You know, you obviously don't have any scratches, cleans up super easily, and it overall just includes to the overall look. If I went into, you know, what else it took, there's all sorts of detailing products that I also have, you know, whether I'm paint correcting or whatnot, but there's always extras that you could add, but I decided to leave those out of the build. So we just have the car itself. So altogether, if we take all of the mods that are on this car right now, we come out to a total of $48,158. We add that to the car cost of $52,000, and we come out to a grand total $100,158. Now, I know that's a lot for an F80, a lot for an M3. There's a lot of other cars that you could have for that money. But honestly, I think this car is pretty special. There aren't very many cars like it. You know, on the surface, it may just look like another white F80 with wheels and a cage. But to me, it's pretty special. You know, I've always wanted these cars for the longest time. When I was young and in high school, I actually had a neighbor that showed up with this was in 2016. I had a neighbor that showed up with a brand new F82 M3 GTS. And that car, I mean, this was I think it was in 2016 or maybe 2017. He had an M4 before and he traded it in for a GTS. And I was already in love with the F80s and seeing that car. And then he let me drive it as a 16-year-old. That was absolutely insane. And ever since that day, I've always wanted an F80 and I've always wanted like a track spec one. And basically here it is. So to me, this car is more than just the money in it or just the parts in it, but it's an experience. It's my hobby. It's my getaway, track days, you know, days in the mountains, hanging out with friends, whatnot. This is more of an experience, and I could not be happier with it. Now, like I said, there are still parts that are coming. We're never done with the car, and there will always be more and more updates, more parts that I want to get on, more performance that I want to get out of the car. Like I said, I already have parts for the engine. I have, you know, things to make more power, extra cooling. I've got aero on the way. That's still delayed. I know I've been mentioning that for a while, but it will be coming. I promise you guys. We're just taking a little bit of time. They're still in development, so it's going to be a little bit, but it will be amazing, and I think it's going to look really, really good on this car. I'll have some updates on some interior bits that may be changing up, as well as, you know, maybe getting new wheels, new setup, different sized wheels. We may be going to an 11-inch square setup so that we could eventually run a 315/30 setup. We may even be doing that just so that we can run a 275 for some of the competitions. 275s are gonna let me fit into more classing so that I'm not, you know, so outclassed in this car, as I mention a lot. But otherwise, that is the entire build sheet on the car. I'm super happy with everything that's on here. Honestly, there's not much that I would change to how the car is built right now. I think if I could change anything, it would just be to have more wheels. I do really want to get that new aero. Kind of getting a little bit tired of the GTS slip look, and I can't tell you guys how badly I want a rear wing on this car. I think it's gonna look so good, but just gotta be patient, just gotta wait. It's summer months in Texas. The car doesn't really get driven too much. Kind of just drive it on the weekends, go out, have fun with friends, maybe go out and go to some meets or something, hang out. But it's so hot, and the weather's just been kind of rough. We've had rain like you wouldn't believe here in Houston, more than normal. And so the car's just kind of been sitting here in the garage. I did take it out like last night, and everything's good. So other than that, we don't really have too much for the M3 for right now, but we will be doing some little things like I mentioned. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the total cost of the build. I know it's quite a bit. I know a lot of you guys will probably be quite shocked into what's into the car, especially considering it's not done. And if you would ask a lot of people, it looks like a pretty stock M3. I mean, it's got a cage, lowered, a little bit of carbon, and some wheels. So, you know, it looks stock, if you will, but I hope you guys enjoyed watching today's video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the next video.